I liked what I saw. Welcome back to the Team 12 Seattle Seahawks podcast. I'm your host, Team 12s. Today we're going to be talking about what I thought of the preseason and the takeaways and the good things and pretty much all the rounding of a bunch of players that I wanted to watch this preseason that I thought had potential, or players that I thought that should get cut. So with the player that I think should get cut is LJ Collier. The only time he was ever brought in on snaps was at the beginning of the Raiders game, and with the rest of the games, it was pretty much end of fourth quarter situation, which is third, fourth stringers, guys that are most likely going to get cut. So I'm really happy that the Seahawks have the cutthroat ability in them still to potentially cut a guy like LJ Collier, who had promise when he was younger, but then you drafted him at age 24 rather than saying, oh, he's staying in the college ranks and stuff at age 24. He's probably a rounded out talent. He's probably not going to be that good in the NFL since he only has one true move that is pretty much obsolete in the NFL, which is just being strong, because everybody's strong in the NFL. With the next guy I'm going to talk about, I don't think he will get cut. I hope we don't cut him because we're a little short on linebacker depth, but Cody Barton, I saw no promise or no upside. Yes, he did make plays, such as where he got those, I think it was 2 sacks against the Raiders, maybe 1 sack against the Broncos, and 2 sacks against the Chargers. So let's start out with the Raiders sack. He pretty much just came in last second, or I might be mixing that up with a different play that I just watched from the Chargers. But he came in unblocked. Everybody else created the pressure for him. He pretty much just had to run in, tackle the quarterback. Done deal there. Against the Chargers, first sack, nobody picked him up. It was horrible communication on the offensive line. He literally just ran straight through the gap, tackled the quarterback. He fumbled. Marquise Blair caught it and ran it in for a touchdown. Then the second sack, also, pretty much remember that video of Jameis Winston running through the big, bulky thing where they have like the padded arms poking out and you have to run through it and come through standing up and everything like that, and he fell down? He pretty much ran through the offensive line like you would that thing. For an NFL player that is a defensive lineman, a linebacker, a running back, you're just going to run through that thing next rep. That's pretty much what happened there. Bumped into 2 guys, got the sack. Then there was another play, multiple plays, where he would run up, going on a blitz, and he just stopped. Oh, there's a guy there. I'm gonna back up. Oh, I'm not gonna push through with a swim move or a bull rush. Now I'm gonna just sit back here, make it look like I'm doing something, a little patty cake. Like, he wasn't doing anything. So I didn't like what I saw there. I didn't think that it was much effort, and as much effort as I hoped he would have given. For the next guy I'm going to talk about on the defense, Jordan Brooks, middle linebacker. His true position is middle linebacker. He's going to be playing linebacker with Bobby, of course, solidifying middle linebacker spot like he always has. But he made a great play against the Raiders where he stopped, I think it was a crucial 3rd and 6, even though we lost the game, same with the Broncos game, but preseason games don't matter score-wise. But he made a great stop in coverage. I thought that showed some flash of, hey, he's sucked in coverage up to this point, but he might be able to do something. And then there was a play where he got destroyed by a tight end against the Broncos, where tight end just ran straight and then and got to the 1-yard line for a catch. And I think they pounded in for a touchdown next play. But it did show some promise, but it was also a little iffy here and there. Kind of like Cody Barton with pass rushing on his blitzes and stuff like that. Next thing I'm going to talk about defensive line. I'm going to move to defensive line. Said the same words twice. But Darrell Taylor. First game showed promise. He was towards the end of the game consistently getting double teams from the offensive tackle tight end. I really liked what I saw there, and he showed some great promise. Second game, he had a horrendous game, played worse than Cody Barton did, and Cody Barton plays pretty bad. But this third game, he brought it back to level-headed, like, oh, you can do some stuff. He was consistently getting chip blocks from tight ends here and there, getting the random double team. He had, I think, one or two sacks. One sack where he completely obliterated the offensive tackle and just turned on his speed. Had that ridiculous bend that you'll see in practices where his legs are on this side of the screen, in like reference, and his body's like over here, and he's completely bent like this, running around the offensive tackle, and it just gets around and sacks the quarterback. And I thought that's kind of like his signature move, because all the a bunch of highlight plays that you see from him are him with his ridiculous bend, where most guys, their feet are just going to slide out from under them, or just normal people, their feet's going to slide out from under them. But he keeps his feet sturdy, gets around, and makes a sack. Next guy I'm going to be talking about is Rasheem Green. I think he has had great potential to be a upper level pass rusher in this league. Hasn't been able to tap into it until this year. First game, he was a menace. Second game, he was just getting consistent pressure, constantly getting double teamed. And same with this game. Both those last two games, getting double teamed. I think there was maybe 4 plays in both of those games where I didn't see him not getting double teamed. And on those plays, he would get pressure, really good pressure. So I am really excited to see him on a rotation role, or potentially even starting role here and there during this NFL season. And I think he has great potential with his ability to have gotten better this offseason, and how much of a leap I think he's taken. So next up, I think I've touched on anyone. Let me just check my notes. Alton Robinson. He has shown promise in the regular season last year. He had 4 sacks as a rookie, as a 5th-round rookie, which was amazing. And on half the snaps Bruce Irvin got in his rookie year, and Bruce Irvin that year had 8 sacks. So put Alton Robinson on those same amount of percentage of snaps, he probably gets 8 sacks. So I think he's going to be great. This year, he was consistently getting double-teamed by offensive tackles and tight ends with chip blocks, and every once in a while, the random double team. So, pretty much same scenario as Rasheem Green. He is young. He's number 98 on the field if you want to watch him. But I think he has good potential for our team, and I think he's going to be another one of those amazing rotation guys to starting here and there during the NFL season. Carlos Dunlap obviously going to be our main starter on the defensive line. But I touched on LJ Collier, and he's kind of sucked, and I hope we cut him. I'm just going to be taking peeks at my notes, since I have like 3 weeks of notes just bobbled everywhere right here. So that's that. And yeah, next play I'm going to be talking about, Stone Forsythe. First game, great job. A little bit of rookie woes where he wasn't quite ready on some stuff, but he got woken up towards the end of the game, playing really solid. This game, I didn't really watch him too much, but with the plays, I think I saw him in a couple times. I might be wrong on that, but I think I saw him in a couple plays. He did solid. No news when you don't recognize an offensive lineman when you're not watching them. Probably means they did a pretty good job. Against the Broncos, he did give up 1 sack on Bradley Chubb. I think that's his first name. I know his last name's Chubb. But 1 sack. The rest of them did great, phenomenal. Blocking the guy did a perfect job. He was a top 15 by the 15 pick by the Broncos in 2018. I think it was maybe 2019. I think it was 2018. But it was unbelievable. He didn't even know who he was. He didn't know who Bradley Chubb was going into that game. He scouted their backup. So going into that game, he's like, oh, who this guy? I guess it's a 3rd stringer. No, Bradley Chubb placed I think it was top 50. I think maybe even in the top 40. I know it was guaranteed the top 50 of the top 100. So all the NFL players, a bunch of people, voted this guy to the top 100 players in the NFL, and Stone Forsythe, a rookie, pretty much just held him at bay. There was only one play where he actually legitimately, completely beat him, and that was the sack. So I think Stone Forsythe has great potential to be the rotation guy. Learn a bit more behind Brandon Shell and Dwayne Brown, and I think he could potentially replace Dwayne Brown and be our left tackle of the future. Most likely slot in at right tackle of the future after this year. Next guy, Rashad Penny. I know I said, oh, he's going to be amazing and all that. He sucked. But this game, we got him on some outside runs, and he forced himself on outside runs on plays where, say, you got offensive line, here's the inside. He's supposed to go right down the middle, right here. But he'd get stopped here, and he'd just move himself to the outside and get 3-4 yards. Or there was a play, 2 plays where he got thrown the ball. He got like 6 yards. There was one play where you did see him down for a second, like on all fours, like, ooh, but he skinned his knee there from what I saw from the recording when I was rewatching it. When he came back out, I was like, he's not a white guy. Why does his knee look white? But it was because he had a big Band-Aid over on the lower part of his knee, like right here, because when he did hit the ground, he skinned his knee a little bit, so that's never fun. It always hurts, but I actually did that today getting into a car. I ran my knee against like a grated speaker. But I think he did a great job. I think he has great potential with being an outside runner for our team, and I was really happy to see him actually get put out on outside runs. Next guy, Alex Collins, I was like, in the first game, like, he hasn't really done a ton. He did solid, but it was okay. Second game, I don't think I saw him at all. This game, it was hard not to see that man. He was consistently the words I had to describe him, I couldn't describe him. It was a mix between butter, swiftness, and like a video game character. Like, say you're playing Madden and you wiggle the joystick back and forth, or like any other game, and the character's feet just like move back and forth rapidly. That's what his feet looked like when he was running on his plays. There was one play in particular where gap gets plugged up. It's just a pile of like 6 guys there, nothing there, and he stops, and then he just slides to the outside, and then I think he got 4 or 5 yards. It's like, oh, it's just an average gain, but the vision of what he did there was great. And there's other plays where the linebacker would be right there, and he'd just slide to the right, and then slide to the left. Like, it was amazing to watch, and I think he had great potential of being a third down guy, or say Carson gets hurt for a game or two, he could be our bruiser back and be that role, and then Rashad Penny be there for the Swifty guy on the outsides. And it gives leeway for our running backs to take more rest or get injured. It would be okay, because it wouldn't be, oh my god, Chris Carson's hurt. Who do you have behind him? Oh, we signed Alex Collins. Who else? DJ Dallas, who I will mention in a second. But it's not so much of a, oh no. It's like, oh, Chris Carson gets hurt? Oh, my fantasy team. Oh no. That's the extent of it. It's not the, oh no, who do we have behind him? It's, oh, we have Rashad Penny, we have Alex Collins, we have DJ Dallas. We're fine. We can go like 2-3 weeks without him. We'll be just fine. Up to 6 weeks and we'll be fine. So I'm really excited for that. Next guy, as I mentioned just a second ago, DJ Dallas. Second game, he lit it up. He got complete rest this game. He didn't play at all during the Chargers game, but against the Raiders and the Broncos, he lit it up as a return man, as a running back. In between the tackles, he did solid. He wasn't insane, but really solid is really solid for inside runs. He's a third down back, so you saw him light it up, but it is preseason. You're not going to see a third down running back light it up against Bobby Wagner and just truck him over like Marshawn Lynch would be able to. But DJ Dallas on pass downs in the regular season will do great. During this preseason, lighting it up on outside runs, he was able to tap into a 5th, 6th gear during this preseason, because you might see that with the every once in a while college player coming into the NFL. In college, you're living off cup of noodles, some microwave pizza pockets, stuff like that in college. But now he's in the NFL. He's got a nutrition team helping him out. He has all the time in the world with no classes to go to for training in the NFL, and he might slim down a little bit and put a little more muscle on, be a little more healthy, and be able to tap into that extra gear that was untapped into before. So I'm really excited for his potential, and I think he'll be a great third down running back for this team in the future and in the present as well. I'm just going to check my notes real quick to see if there's any other players. I know there is. I might touch on Marquise Blair. He wasn't really in for too long. I touched on Cody Barton. Trey Brown I won't touch on. He wasn't really... Our cornerbacks were kind of set up to fail this preseason because Pete Carroll kind of forced into their heads. Step back, learn the kick step. Don't let anything deep go on you. I saw a great play from Akila Witherspoon where it might be a little hard to hear me, but I'll turn up the volume a little bit. So, Akila Witherspoon. So he's running. Guys behind him sees the deep ball being thrown. He's running, and then he sees, oh, the wide receiver's behind me. He has to go past me. I'm gonna just slow it down, and he just runs into him and stops. So I thought that was a really smart play by him to do that, where kind of just forces the wide receiver. You can't really throw a flag on, oh, the guy's tired, he slows down. You can't assume there by the refs. So I thought that was a great play by him. Marquise Blair, great job with blitzing, playing that Jamal Adams role this game. I was really happy to see him out there. Think he has great potential. But pretty much that's everything. It is a really long video. I'm sorry about that. But there's just so much to cover. I'm covering all 3 games and what I saw because I just wanted it to be one full big thing for you guys so you could not have to spend 3 weeks watching snippets of like and just get it all at once and really get my full thoughts of everything. This offense will look so much better with Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, the rest of the starting offensive line, Chris Carson back there, because Alex Magoo, we dropped a goose egg. I don't think we scored a single point against the Raiders. Dropped 3 points against the Broncos. But against the Chargers, they dropped 0, and we dropped 27. 14 of those, 7 of those defense, and then the rest of it offense. But with Geno out there, it looked like a legitimate offense, and it looked flowy. It flowed well. Imagine a top 3 quarterback, you could put Watson if you want, Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady if you're if you don't recognize he threw 3 interceptions in the NFC Championship and got bailed out by his defense. But I'm going to say top 3 quarterback, top 2 is pushing it a little bit because Aaron Rodgers, current NFL MVP, and Mahomes is better because Mahomes a beast. But I'm going to say Russell Wilson, 3rd best quarterback in the NFL. It's going to look amazing, and I'm really excited to see it. But other than that, if you did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing. As I mentioned earlier, I'm sorry it was a super long video. I'll have a description for my Discord. I'll have a link in my description for my Discord. And have a good rest of your day.